Rudy Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. And this is your Monday night news show. Of course, we're going to be talking about Ruud Van Nistelrooy and him potentially becoming a coach at Manchester United. We're going to talk about Erik ten Hag's new contract. We're going to talk about a certain bid going in for a certain South American player that a certain other Premier League club have put a bid in for. I'm going to talk about the Zirkzee bid potentially being put on ice as well. So, yeah, first and foremost, apologies that we're late. There's other things outside of our control that has happened effectively. But we obviously we were still always going to go live. So, yeah, apologies for the lateness. But, Sam, how are we?
Yeah, just live stuff gets in the way of the fun stuff, as always, as usual. So yeah, good. Been a warm day, a warm day.
It is. And when you're walking home in 30-degree heat in a black shirt, and you're a very, very pale guy. It's not the one. I can definitely attest to that. But we're going to be talking about some hot topics, Sam, because we've got Ruud Van Nistelrooy that we definitely need to discuss. Romano put out on Twitter earlier today that Ruud Van Nistelrooy's return to Manchester United as part of Erik ten Hag's coaching staff is advancing fast. You've also had some other outlets, Dutch outlets, report on it as well. James Ducker from The Telegraph said Ruud Van Nistelrooy has spoken to Burnley about their vacant manager's job, but the idea of a return to United as part of Erik ten Hag's staff is thought to hold a particular appeal to him. Ruud Van Nistelrooy's return to United would only be contingent, though, on Erik ten Hag agreeing that a contract extension. First and foremost, are you surprised that he would prefer like an assistant kind of coaching role at United rather than a full managerial position?
It's a little bit weird, isn't it? Like normally people get into management, they don't then take the step down. But it has happened. Like one of the current coaches at Man United, Steve McLaren, he was assistant Fergie, became first team manager, and now has gone back.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think the pull of United is strong though as well. I think obviously he's got history there. He's one of our greatest goal scorers, one of the favorite players on the channel, especially Aaron, one of Aaron's favorite ever players.
Yeah, I love him.
So I think the pull is there, and I think the idea of working with Ten Hag, the Dutch sort of coaching setup they've got might appeal to him. Maybe he wants to work with the likes of Rasmus Højlund and Rashford, that kind of stuff. And the thing that popped into my head is if they do agree this contract extension with Ten Hag and it does go tits up, do they then pivot to Ruud?
Yeah. People would I see quite a few people suggesting that it's a smart move in more than one ways, I think was the way that it was described. And I agree. Look, he's obviously there as an option. That's why I'm so surprised that he would be an assistant manager, because I think he's good enough. I mean, you look at what he's done at PSV, had a very successful stint, won 2 cups, finished second with a 69.7% win rate. I mean, we've been through these metrics before when we talked about Erik ten Hag, and then he came to the Premier League, it was like, oh, okay. But you look at some of the younger talents that he's developed in Xavi Simons, Branthwaite is another one as well. Yep. You know, that could have a pull in that sense. And then just a pure striker. When you talk about an out-and-out number 9 who's, selfish for his own good in certain times, I think he would be perfect for someone like Erasmus. And that's what most excites me about this kind of appointment. Now, I don't know if you know, is he going to be a pure assistant coach, so what Van der Gaag's doing?
I saw, so there was 2 things that I've seen. So Benny McCarthy's contract and Van der Gaag's contract are both up at the end of this month. So he could replace either of them. So he could be the number 2, Van der Gaag, or he could replace Benny McCarthy as like the striking coach. Now, obviously, your first thought goes to the striking coach because that's what he is. That's what he does.
Yeah. And Benny McCarthy leaving as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you think, oh, that's probably the key position for him. But maybe he's only signing if he gets to be number 2. Because he knows if he gets to be number 2 and Ten Hag does leave, which is a possibility, let's all face it.
Yeah.
He will probably likely get the caretaker gig, because that's normally what they do. It goes to number 2 for a while until they find someone, and then he might think, I can get this job being in the caretaker role and end up getting a job. So it might be an idea of career advancement. There's not many clubs bigger than Manchester United. Like, no offense to Burnley. I know Burnley were interested in him. I know Club Bruges were interested in him, but no offense to any of those clubs. But Manchester United is a different beast, and if you've got the chance to be the number one there. Whether that means waiting as a number two for a year or two, you're going to take it, aren't you? And I think he could learn a lot as well, like especially so even if he doesn't, he'll learn a hell of a lot underneath Ten Hag and all those other coaches.
Especially when United were pivotal in his career, like we was the one who kind of trampolined him into his status that he was, and then obviously went on to play for Real Madrid and stuff. So I think obviously he's got an affinity with the club. He loves the club. So there's that side to it as well. But I'd never want a coach just to move to United just because he loves the club. I want him to come here because he's got the right, kind of key assets, what you would want in an assistant coach. I think you look at his work at PSV. Something that I was reading before about 60% of PSV's minutes were given to players under 24. So players like Gakpo, Branthwaite, Simmons, Bakayoko, Savio, Madueke, who's obviously at Chelsea now at the moment. So when you look at our current crop of youngsters, that's, it's inviting, in that sense.
Obviously United's all about youth, and I think that's something, especially with the FFP and PSR restrictions that we have, we're gonna have to look a bit more towards that and develop more youth players. Obviously, we've got a very good crop at the minute. If you've not seen it, go check out our members video. 2 youth players we've identified. Go check that out. We go into detail about 2 particular players, so go check that out if you haven't seen it. I'll drop the link in a minute, actually. I think that's a key thing. Obviously, he's worked with youth, and you've just identified players. Branthwaite, maybe there's a pull there. If he sees Van Nistelrooy join, maybe he's more likely to join and make a push. Who knows? And then, you've got to think as well. I've looked at these videos of him breaking down his tactics and how he works and how he operates within games and stuff. He's a very, very intelligent guy when it comes to tactics, when it comes to movement, when it comes to like positioning and like possession. He's extremely switched on. He knows exactly what he's talking about. And you saw that with the sort of success he had at PSV. And I think if he can bring that to Manchester United, maybe he can give an option to Ten Hag. Like if Ten Hag's being stubborn with the sort of stuff he's doing, maybe he can be like, maybe we could try this. And this might negate that, and that might change that. And he might be really influential on the sort of tactics evolving or plan Bs or stuff like that. I think that'd be really, really interesting as well. So those 2 things, I think, are very good sort of skills to have within the club.
Well, in order for this to happen, of course, Erik ten Hag needs to extend his contract at the club because he's only got 12 months left on it. And United are hoping to agree a new contract with him before the start of their pre-season tour in America. Apparently, the negotiations are complicated, but talks between United and Ten Hag have been progressing well. Talks over a new contract are centred on a redefined role that would see him have less influence over recruitment, which we already knew anyway. I mean, we've spoken about that in depth. And both parties are optimistic of striking deals sooner rather than later. And again, that's according to James Ducker in the Telegraph, who's, relatively good journalist. But whatever side of the table you're on here, Sam, this needs to get wrapped up as soon as possible, doesn't it? Like, you can't really leave this dragging for too long, like the transfers, for example.
No, so like obviously the you were saying the contingency on Ruud joining is Ten Hag signing a new deal. So get that done, get that sorted, get it signed, sealed, delivered, get Ruud in, he'll be sorted. And then, like you said, the transfers should be happening in the background anyway. I don't think you need to be like doing one and then the next one. I think we can operate both at the same time. There's rumours of Branthwaite bid going in. There's rumours on Zirkzee that we'll touch on and stuff. So there seems to be things happening in the background. The Boca Junior centre back we'll touch on as well. There seems to be lots of stuff happening. So hopefully they're running parallel rather than we're doing this and then we're going to do this. Like, let's do it at the same time because every other club seems to be able to do it at the same time. Like, why can't we?
There was a bit in that section there that I read out that said negotiations are complicated, though. Why do you think that is?
Well, he's got a veto, hasn't he, for any transfers?
Yeah.
So I imagine that's going to complicate things. Say they identify a talent like this Ansel Amino from Boca, and Ten Hag doesn't know anything about him. He'd just be like, well, I don't know him. I haven't scouted him. I don't know if he's going to work in my team, and he'll veto it. And then that sort of torpedoes a potential signing that could be really good. But obviously, he should have a say. But obviously, there's going to be negotiations about how much impact his say has and who has the final decision on transfers and who. I think there's a lot of minutia about like who gets final say because at the minute his veto basically just cancels anything, which we saw what happened. Like obviously his transfers have been a bit hit and miss. Some of them have failed, some of them have been all right, but there's issues there. So I think he needs to be part of the transfer process, but he cannot be the be all and final decision. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't personally, but
yeah. Well, we've got Chris Pep in the chat saying, do you think he'll replace Erik ten Hag if things don't work out? I mean, yeah, we got slightly glazed over that, but I probably would agree with that. Asheen Mia says transfers will happen. We're going to talk about transfers as well in a moment. Simon Davis saying, I feel if this manifests, it could go one or two ways. Erik ten Hag might feel undermined. Time will tell. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. Well, yeah, look, I think what Alex Crook said about this situation was interesting. I don't like Alex Crook. I think he talks absolute nonsense.
Talk sport as well, so
recycles what credible journalists have said. But anyway, he says while Ineos's main priority remains to agree a new deal with ten Hag, Ruud Van Nistelrooy coming back to United as a coach would be a massive PR win for Ineos and could also be a very shrewd appointment in terms of influence on the dressing room. So, yeah, do you think this is an Ineos suggestion, or do you think ten Hag might have suggested this?
I think it might be it sounds like an Ineos suggestion. I wouldn't think Ten Hag would have said, because he hasn't really worked with Ten Hag at any point that I remember. I think they've played against each other, I believe.
Yeah.
There's a video somewhere of Ten Hag shouting at Nistelrooy to get back behind the line during a kickoff.
Have you seen Ten Hag when he was younger?
Yeah.
He looks mad. Does not look like the same guy.
No. So I know they've played against each other, so that's about the thing. But I don't think there's a connection there. So it would be weird for him to just go, yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy, because we know how sort of loyal he is to Michel van der Gaag.
Yeah.
So I don't think it does seem like an appointment from within Ineos and whatever structure they have. That seems like more of them appointment. United legend goes over well with the fans, but he also has the pedigree and the credibility to back it up. Yeah. He's been a successful manager at PSV, tactically switched on, very young in terms of a manager, and he'll demand respect by players as well when he comes in because of what he's won and the achievements that he has. So I think that seems like an Ineos appointment to me.
Perfect marriage in that sense, isn't it? Yeah. Everything you've just mentioned there, I absolutely agree with that. If you are watching live right now, currently, or if you're watching later on and you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button and smash a like on the video as well. If you're excited about the potential appointment of Ruud van Nistelrooy. And when we have more on that, if anything does break on it, of course, we'll go live. We're going to stick with the Dutch kind of theme of the show, Sam. And we're going to move on to Joshua Zirkzee at a minute. Another kind of update, again, from the Daily Star, so take it with a pinch of salt if you want. Yeah. Do whatever you want with this story, I don't care. Manchester United are locked in talks with Zirkzee's representatives about personal terms, but have not yet reached an agreement. Both parties are still apart when it comes to the players' wages and length of contract, but further talks are planned in the next 48 hours. I think I've seen something about from Romano about Branthwaite in the next 48 hours as well, so that's two deals that we're looking to get in before pre-season. But it just feels at the moment, from reports you've seen from Romano as well, there's a little bit of doubt creeping into this deal, isn't there, at the minute?
Yeah, I saw, I'm just trying to find the actual quote so I don't fuck it up, from Sky Sports Premier League.
I think I know which one you're referring to. Didn't they put out something initially that was like imminent, and then I've seen Sky Sports tweet out again saying...
Today, maybe it was like an hour ago or so. I'm trying to find it. Bear with me. But yeah, the situation seems to be, here it is. Sky Sports Premier League, about 4 hours ago. A deal for Joshua Zirkzee to Man United is not close or imminent at this time, at this stage. So you go, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of, I'm hoping the confusion and the fact that papers are speculating and sort of trying to guess, I'm hoping it's because everything's going on behind closed doors and there's no leaks. Because you know what
you'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
You know what United are like. We know every detail, how long it's been going on, every sort of meeting. Like, it always gets leaked. Like, Jadon Sancho thing, what was it, 2 years? We knew about the whole fucking thing. It was out. Ridiculous. So I'm hoping the fact that the papers are going, some papers are going, oh, it's definitely happening. They've been locked in talks. And then there's other ones are going, oh, it's not close. And they're just literally hedging their bets, going, well, this paper's going with this. Why don't we go with this? And then 50-50 shot of getting it right. So I'm hoping that's the case. There's clearly interest in him. James from Muppeteers said so. Like you said, his sources, they're definitely interested in him. They want to activate that release clause. Obviously, the agent fee that they're talking about seems to be complicated matters because it was supposed to be 15 million for AC Milan, but he's willing to discount it to 8 for us. So I'm sure that complicates matters. And then there was a story that he didn't want to decide until after the Euros. So depending on how far the Netherlands got, so there's a lot of confusion about it, and I think until David Ornstein or someone tweets something out, I would just take, like you said, take everything with a pinch of salt. you want to believe it and ruin your own day, then you go ahead and do that, because you'll just get yourself wrapped in circles and you'll just be like, I don't know what's happening. Just take it. Okay, that's interesting. If David Ornstein comes out with it, then you know for a fact it's going on.
Yeah, I think we've established on this channel, I'm the guy who will get wrapped up in it and be constantly like, what's going on, what's going on? And Sam and Chivy are more the kind of, you know, sit back on a sun lounge or wait until it blows over and then we'll have a discussion. So, yeah, maybe that's why the channel works so well. I don't know. But, yeah, I was listening to Romano last night and he was speaking about it in depth and he was saying still early stages of the deal. This is why I think Sky Sports has just recycled it, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Still early stages of the deal. Zirkzee has accepted the salary proposal from AC Milan and the release clause. It's just the agent commission that seems to be an issue between AC Milan and his agent. So if that gets sorted, you might well see Milan pull the player in and it'll be done. Because he might prefer to stay in Italy as well. We've spoken about this. Like, you know, they're in the Champions League. It's a good opportunity equally. So, yeah, I think that's an interesting one.
AC Milan they've got some decent players. You've got Rafael Leao there and like different sort of players. And I think they're more likely to compete for a title than United are, let's face it. Like, they're more likely to sort of,
they
you know what I mean?
won one not too long ago.
Yeah, I know Inter have dominated fairly recently. They've won quite a few titles recently, so I think it's an exciting prospect to go to Milan. It's not the same as it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, obviously, like in the heyday when I was absolutely enthralled by them, but it's still a really top club, massive fan base.
Yeah, San Siro, like.
Yeah, San Siro, Champions League. Like, there's not much that can compete with that. Obviously, United is one of those, but yeah, it's down to him and his agent and fees and stuff. And then it comes down to, does he want to go stay in Italy or does he want to come to Manchester?
That's it. Also, as well, sunny Italy, Milan or Manchester.
Nice shopping, fantastic restaurants, all the other stuff. And then there's the Milan where it's like, you know, I'm joking.
Exactly.
I'm joking.
Yeah, people got it. Richard Hawkins saying, I would still prefer Garassi, but definitely do not want Jonathan David. I think I'm with you on that one. I'm not
Garassi's leaving, isn't he? Garassi's he said he wants to leave, so we could well pivot to him, because what is his release clause?
17 million it was.
It's still active.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to double check that. But
you could well pivot to him, like.
Yeah, and I think they're looking at a multitude of deals like this around Europe. I mean, we mentioned the one from Boca Juniors. That we spoke about a while ago, probably about a month ago now, or 2 months ago. We had mentioned it on a show. And again, reports coming from South America are starting to surface around this player. So Boca Juniors believe that there is a concrete chance that Manchester United will submit a proposal for centre-back Aaron Anselmino in the coming days. Chelsea have already made a 14 million bid for the player.
Of course they have.
Yeah, obviously. Chelsea have got the fingers in almost every single pie in Europe at the minute. Not in Europe, South America now. They're expanding. They've already made a 40 million bid for Anselmino, which is being considered apparently by Boca Juniors. Do you think maybe the Euro news has got something to do with this? We saw stuff coming out where obviously the Todibo stuff, UEFA regulations. You got Euro, it's like not happy, wants to go to Real Madrid. The Branthwaite's back and forth. So do you think this is maybe an alternative option in terms of the second centre back, a young promising one?
Yeah, obviously, like United need to be across a lot of players. Like, we cannot be just going, we've got a single target for each position, and if it doesn't work, we panic and then go to whoever's available. We need to be like, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three, blah, blah, blah. And it seems to be Branthwaite seems to be number one, and Yoro seems to be number two, and then Todibo seems to be number three, and then this Anselmino seems to be number four. Now Todibo's off the table, like as far as we know, due to the regulations. Yoro, there's all this talk about Madrid, but they haven't made a bid. They haven't said anything. They haven't done anything. So everyone's like, he wants to go to Madrid, but there's no bid been made. So, like, I don't know why people think it's a done deal. It's not like he's signed anything. So
maybe he'll end up going on a free if if stay at Lille for another year and then just move down a free.
Exactly. So there's things like that. So I don't think that's off the table by any means. Obviously Todibo is, and then so now they're like, well, if Yoro does stay or Madrid come in, we need to have another pivot here to someone else. Obviously, they've been scouting Anselmino for a while, because I think we reported on it back in like April, March or something like that. Yeah. So he's obviously been on the books for a while. So if it's 14.5 million the fee for Chelsea going in for, so under 20 million is not too bad of a bid for a backup centre back, and he's young. Yeah. South America, again, good value, normally good quality. They transfer quite well to the Premier League. So, yeah, could be an interesting signing. I don't know anything about the kid. I've not seen him play.
Neither.
I don't know
Me
any
neither.
stats or anything like that. So, yeah, I'd be lying if I said he was a good player or not because I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I might actually make a mission of that over the next couple of
Yeah.
days to watch him in depth and see what it's like. But again, the South American League, you remember Palistri? Killing it in the South American League, comes over, just doesn't translate. But then you got Julian Alvarez who come over and you know, it looks wonderful. So
Caicedo.
you just never really know. Caicedo, yeah, another one, of course. Any news of comment or involvement of Erik ten Hag in the Ruud appointment? Well, we touched on it at the start. Romano has just put something out, by the way, on Twitter saying Ruud van Nistelrooy's final decision is expected soon. So, yeah,
does that mean, Fab? For fuck's sake, what does soon mean?
Well, yeah, it's kind of broad in that
Tomorrow?
sense, but
next week?
maybe tonight,
what,
maybe
like?
tomorrow. I would kind of expect from a tweet
shit.
like that. So, yeah, that is quite literally the latest on everything at the minute, from transfer news to Erik ten Hag's new contract to Ruud van Nistelrooy, and yeah, everything else we're pretty much covered. So, we are going to be live again at 7 o'clock, believe it or not. Look at these two workhorses, I know. We're going to be discussing the England preview. It's going to be me, Sam, and Alex on. Is that
Danny,
correct, Sam?
Dan as well.
And Dan's on as well, is it, Danny?
Wait,
which
Dan?
Dan?
Dan from Real Reds, not my mate Dan.
Dan from Real Red. Okay, yeah. There's two Dans. So, yeah, Dan, original Dan, is going to be on the show as well. So, we've got a full panel discussing England versus Slovenia at 7 o'clock. So, in 25 minutes' time. So, go get a brew. Go dip your biscuits, whatever it is you want to do with your brew. And we'll link back up in 7 o'clock. We'll see you then. Anything else, Sam, before we get
Follow the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the good stuff. Any sort of news, graphics, that kind of stuff, it'll all be posted there first. So if you want to know the latest thing, that's where it gets posted first. Nick has recently entered full-time employment again, so there'll be no 12 o'clock shows going forward, I'm afraid. I know a lot of people liked them and enjoyed them, but we've tried to make it up to you today. We're trying to ease the transition, so we're giving you 2 videos today at 6 and 7. So you're still getting 2 videos.
And the members.
And a members video dropped today as well, so you got quite a few. So, yeah. No 12 o'clock videos, I'm afraid, but we're going to try and make up. We're going to try and do 2 videos on the Saturday and the Sunday now.
Yeah.
We'll try and do that.
And then a couple of pre-records throughout the week as well.
Sunday Social was a really good hit. Like, people seem to enjoy that, on Sunday. So we'll try and do some more podcasty type stuff because people seem to be interested in that sort of stuff. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Yes, smash a like on the video as well just before you leave, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock, guys. Thank you very much to everyone who tunes in on a regular basis. We appreciate every single one of you. We'll see you in a bit.
Peace.